Train Collaborative podcast. I'm your host, Erin. And of course, today we have a special guest. My cousin Joe Baffoe is joining us all the way from Hawaii. And I wanted to bring him on today because, first of all, he's been one of my favorite people since we were teenagers, probably. We both play music. We just have a lot of things in common, and I love Joe with all my heart. Um, but one of the interesting things about cousin Joe is I found out that he had color blindness probably, I don't know, decade and a half ago, I think he told me. And now that I've been studying all the neuroplasticity stuff and neuroscience stuff through Z Health and all the things in the Ray Peat realm, um, we decided to do something really cool with him. And we're going to talk about that in this podcast, where we got him some of those color blindness lenses. And so I wanted him to share his experience with you guys today. Joe, first of all, welcome to the show. And second of all, if you don't mind, tell people a little bit about maybe when you found out you were colorblind and what that experience was like for you. And that way we can get a little backstory of what's going on there.
Absolutely. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Erin, thank you so much for that kind introduction. As Erin said, we're first cousins on my dad and her mom, or brother, sister. Well, my dad passed away actually over 2 decades ago now, which is, that's been an experience in itself. But I remember being able to come out and visit Colorado, and it was one of the most memorable experiences of my life, and that's part of why I moved out there eventually and lived there for almost 8 years. But anyway, yeah, so I know that's not the topic of today, but I just wanted to give a little bit of a backstory there. And it was around that time that I was able to tell Erin that I'm red-green colorblind. And the way I found that out was actually, well, my mom knew all along because I don't remember so much, but apparently when I was really young, I was fairly quick to pick up on things, alphabet, reading. But one of the first things that kids learn is colors. And I really struggled with the majority of the colors because a lot of things have red and green in them. And my mom's dad is also colorblind. So she figured, well, he probably inherited it from me or my mom. And she knew when I was probably like 3 years old, with a pretty definitively that, oh yeah, he's got to be colorblind if he knows all this other stuff, but doesn't know what kids learn pretty much first, I guess. And then it was later confirmed when I went to kindergarten. So this is actually a pretty funny story. So my mom gets a call, and this is before cell phones, caller ID, all that stuff. So she's sitting at work. She gets this phone call. She picks it up. Hello, and oh, this is Palos East Elementary School. We're calling about. We have some bad news about your son. And she's sitting there like freaking out, like, what did he fall in recess, get a concussion, or something even worse than that? So she's thinking, oh my God, something really bad has happened. And then they're like, okay, brace yourself, brace yourself. Here it is. So your son is colorblind. And then she just kind of laughed and was like, yeah, I already knew that. Well, luckily it wasn't anything worse. So then the school confirmed it because I had taken those tests where they have a bunch of circles of different colors, and you're supposed to be able to see numbers inside of those circles and with all the different colors. And I could see them for, some of them, but anything that was for red-green color blindness, I could not read the number for the life of me. So I've known my whole life that I was colorblind. But what's really interesting about the phenomenon is, think about how we just interpret our reality around us. So subjectively, we see this object, right? And I can see blue. So I know if I see something that's blue, that it's blue. And I actually am getting better with red green. I'll get into that later because of Aaron's help. But anyway, so I can see blue. I say that thing that is the color blue. And then Aaron or somebody that's fully color proficient sees that, also says that's the color blue. But what does it really look like inside of Aaron's eyes versus inside of my eyes? That's the thing that, it just really blows my mind, is how subjective our perception is. I wonder what it really looks like through everybody else's eyes. And that's really apparent when you look at, like for color blindness, where Aaron says, "Oh, that's red," and I look at it, I'm like, "Well, so for a lot of us, it kind of um, it's like you can't sense it. It's like almost like, and it's not exactly like this, but almost like um, part of the red, part of the black, white, or gray kind of contrast rather than like a color that you perceive." So we have what are called cones in our eyes, and there are different cones that perceive different types of light, color, and so the cones we use to see color. And there's one type of cone in my eyes that are like, they're actually present, but they're just not connected. So I'm actually working through that process of neuroplasticity to try to form those connections, and that's why I am getting better with it. And I think because these type of glasses that came out, um, I was already old, upper 30s, so I had already kind of missed out on some of those earlier years. But as Aaron, I'm sure we'll get into some of the neuroscience stuff, that our brains are neuroplastic, where we can learn new things and form new connections, even well into our 70s and beyond, really all of our life. So it's something I'm going to be working on all my life. But when we were younger, so Aaron and I are the same age. That's part of why we're so close, just because I call her my soul sister, just because we're only 2 months or less than 2 months apart in age. And so we got to kind of experience the same kinds of things through our, age level as we've grown up. And so back when we were younger, this technology wasn't very good. There were some kind of glasses that were coming out, and I'd try them, but they didn't really work. It wasn't until really during COVID when Aaron and worked with a lot of our family members, and this was unbeknownst to me. So this was all a shock and a surprise. But for my birthday, that was in 2020. So we had basically the world shut down, right? And that was right around actually your birthday, just a little bit before your birthday when all that went down. And then I was, a little bit later than that was my birthday, and Aaron was kind enough to rally our family to get me these colorblind glasses. And at first I'm like, okay, yeah, another pair of colorblind glasses to try on, and nothing works or whatever. And I shouldn't have that connotation, but it's just I think when you try all these different things and nothing works, you just kind of lose hope with it. But then I got the glasses. We do this big Zoom meeting together because it's COVID. I have no idea what this gift is. So my wife Sarah gives me this gift, which was from everybody, and I open it up and it's colorblind glasses, and then I'm like, oh, let's put them to the test. Let's try them. So I put them on, and I'll never forget this either. So we pull up, before I put them on, I pull up a colorblind test online, and I actually shared my screen with everybody. And I was like, can you guys read whatever this number is that's supposed to be in there that I could not see? And they all said, yeah, we can see the number. I was like, okay, so now I'll put on the glasses, see if I can see the number. This was the first time I had ever been able to pass a colorblind test. I put these glasses on, said the number 7. They're like, yeah, it's 7. And then I pulled up more and more and kept doing it. And then there were still some. What's kind of funny is, like, some of them are harder than others, where they have, like, I guess, shades that are really close. And even, Aaron, I remember you were like, well, that one is a really weird one where, you're like, I can barely see that number. So I could see it, but it was kind of like some of those tests, you could barely see them even if you're color proficient. But that was the first time I ever really saw that or perceived those colors of red and green. To be able to do that was just, I mean, it was earth, just changed my whole life. So I've had these glasses now for 4 years, over 4 years, and I've been able to have different experiences with them. And I'd like to share some of those with you. But I think before I share some um, of my blog, and the first one was kind of what I had just described.
Well,
Um,
before you jump into that real quick, Joe, I want to jump in here real quick for those of you who may not know much about the eyes. Um, as Joe mentioned, we have something called we have rods and we have cones in our eyes. So rods pick up ambient vision, so kind of stuff in your periphery, light contrast, movement, things like that. Cones pick up color. So you have a red cone, a green cone, and a blue cone. And this helps us create. So if you don't know this, all of our vision lives in our brain. So our eyes look, but our brain sees. And color processing actually happens in something called the temporal lobe. And so when we're looking from a neuro perspective, thinking about pathways and color, when I was talking to Joe about color blindness, I was thinking about, what are things that might live around that area, like how could we enhance maybe the process of making things more plastic while we're doing this. um so there's a lot of cool thoughts that we have, and there's some people that have an extra cone, I believe, don't quote me on this, I might be messing this up, where like a normal person who can see, somebody who has all their function in their cones and rods can see, I think millions of colors. There's a rare percentage of people who can see even more than that, which is like, I don't know if you've ever gone to the Home Depot paint section and you're just like, oh my God, there's like 90 different whites, like so some people are really, really susceptible, like they can see even better than like your average person in the world. And so I thought that was very interesting too. And I'll say this too, for Joe, it was really exciting to get him these glasses. I was curious if they'd work myself. Part of the thing about eyes is that they're very metabolically expensive. So when you're thinking about metabolism, another piece of this is potentially maybe B1 could be something that could help with vision improvements. I use that a lot with clients. Um, so there's B3 is another good one because it reduces the amount of free fatty acids in our blood, which eyes are really susceptible to things like polyunsaturated fatty acids, and that can destroy the eye tissue. And so there's just some interesting things going on there as well. But when I got these glasses for Joe, with the family, I was really excited to see what it would look like for him to wear them. And I just remember you looking at your Coke can going, oh my God, is that what it looks like? Like, and then you were like walking around the house seeing what you could look at with different colors. And so uh, from a family perspective, it was such a joy to get to be part of that experience. And I just want to say thank you for letting us do that with you, because that was pretty cool.
oh my God, thank you for, I mean, really changing my life in such an amazing way. I mean, think of, uh, I mean, I always think of, I kind of relate it to those videos where you have a baby that's born deaf or hard of hearing, and then they put a cochlear implant in their ear, and then you could just see the baby just like light up, like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you could hear. And for me, even though I could see, to see the colors, um, that's, I kind of see it as very analogous to that. So the wavelength of light that we can see, because there's so much, there's infrared, ultraviolet, and so many different frequencies we probably can't even interpret. But the wavelength of light that we can see typically is between 380 and 780 nanometers wavelength of light. And so for colorblind people, there's some frequencies in there that we just aren't able to normally pick up. But we do have, or people do have the cones in there. And that's what really shocked me. And I didn't know that before, that it's possible to then really make those connections with a lot of practice and wearing the glasses, to then be able to pick up those colors. Like even my shirt, I have this Aloha shirt, nice vibrant red. Before I had the glasses, I couldn't even really see it. And then with the glasses, it's just like a whole different ball game. And like Aaron said, everything was just kind of like I was a kid in a candy store. What can I look at next? Oh, there's trees out there. Oh, there's foliage. There are flowers, birds. All these different things. It's just really opened my eyes, literally, to all of that. So I'll just kind of jump in also where how this happens with people is it is hereditary, as I said earlier, but the real mechanism biologically is it actually travels with the X chromosomes. So our X and Y, our sex chromosomes. So it's a lot more common in males than females because women have two X chromosomes, and it's a recessive trait. So if they've got one good X chromosome, that's gonna be dominant, and then so the woman will be a carrier, like my mom is a carrier of that gene, but she does not express that gene because she has a dominant gene that takes over, so she can see all the colors. But then I got that X chromosome, and then I got my Y chromosome from my dad, so I didn't have another X chromosome to uh, be dominant against that recessive gene. So then I actually, like my grandfather, expressed that trait. So that's how people inherit uh, color blindness. And I'll just kind of go into a couple of my little blog entries that I had. Um, this one was just kind of after that time that I got the glasses, June 28th, 2020. This was a beautiful day in Colorado. Um, it was I should have written what reservoir we were going to, but it was in the southwest part of the state. I lived in Ridgeway at the time, and then we went towards Dolores. Um, it's a pretty decent reservoir there. I'm blanking on the name, and I can't believe I didn't write it down. But anyway, so I took the glasses with me outside, as our friends invited us to go on a boat ride with them. Since we had a little bit of a drive to get to the lake, I wore the glasses while we were driving there. I was not driving, my wife was, because they do give me kind of, or especially at first, they gave me headaches, just because it was just so overwhelming, the colors that were, all the information coming in. It was kind of dizzying, so I didn't feel comfortable driving with them, but I could sit in the passenger seat and kind of look out and see everything, which was really cool. The colors, they're just amazing. The reds from the mountains and the greens from the grass were so vibrant. Even the sky has a deeper blue than what was normally used to seeing. We passed by a sign for a barbecue place that had a pig on it that was pink. And that was the first time I really saw pink. I could really see the red that was in the pink for the very first time. I also saw a purple car pass us, which, because purple has red in it too, it was the first time I was really seeing purple. Just such a vibrant color. I could see why. Uh, in the old days, purple was the color of royalty, whereas before I was like, why? What's up with this purple? Why does everybody like this thing? It's such a dull color. You can't even see it. But then with the glasses, whoa, okay, I kind of understand why people like this color now. So uh, when we did arrive at our destination, so when I take the glasses off, um, my if it there's like almost like a green film that's over my eyes. When after I wear the glasses for a while and I take them off, it's almost like everything is green for like 15 minutes. I think it's because the red filter. I'll put them on here shortly to show you. But because I think it's a red rosy film, when you take it off, it's kind of like the color subtraction of that, where then everything is green. So at first, when I did that, I was very freaked out. I was like, did I lose like all my vision? But I had to like sit down for a while and get the dizziness out of my system. And after about 15 or 20 minutes, then my eyes kind of returned back to normal. Now I don't really get that as much. I mean, I still get it, but since I know what it is now, I'm okay with it. And it doesn't last as long either. Um, so I just, even when I would look up at the sky, which is blue, it looked green. I asked my wife, what she saw, and she said it was a bluebird day. The sky was blue. So I was very, very concerned, but it did wear off after about 15 or 20 minutes. Then we went on the boat ride, which was awesome. Being able to look out on the reservoir, in the mountains, on a beautiful bluebird day, and actually see those colors, was just unbelievable. And our brains have this neuroplasticity, and our minds will adjust to new knowledge, new stimuli, new movements, new exercises. I've also been working with Aaron on eye exercises with the Brock string that I learned about. And I do those exercises now every day, along with my movement exercises, back exercises. And our optical nerves are also tied to the rest of our body, really our motion, which I didn't know about either. So it's just really amazing how connected all of our nervous system is with each other, or with all the different parts of our body. And I wouldn't have thought that something so simple, or like glasses or a string that you focus your eyes and do these eye exercises with, would make such a dramatic difference in my life.
That's awesome. And, you know, I'll just say this for somebody who does not have color blindness, putting on a red lens. So I use colored lenses often for clients and for myself. After my car accident, I responded really well to blue lenses. Um, Blue lenses actually are more exciting to the cortex. That's the most exciting color. Um, Red is more of a medium exciting color to the brain. It's also more of an arousal, like I don't want to say sympathetic, because it's ironically people that are highly sympathetic respond really well to red lenses. So I don't think that's the right word choice, but it's really great for preparing your body for exercise or for sports. Um, Green is more inhibitory. So when you wear green lenses, it actually quiets down the cortex some. And then yellow and orange are really great for night vision, which is kind of cool. So there's different things that different colors do. And even for me, if I wear blue lenses and I take them off, I see more red. Same with green, if I take the green lenses off, green's not as dramatic as blue, but I'll see more red. If I wear red or pink lenses, as soon as I take them off, things will look a lot more blue or green. But when we're talking about neuroplasticity, I want to touch on this a little bit because we've said it a few times here. Neuroplasticity is the ability for neurons. Basically, our whole nervous system is made up of neurons. Neurons turn on and off other neurons around them. Okay, that's their relationship. And they need two things to stay alive. They need fuel, breathing and food, and then activation, stimulation, right? And because our brain is only, 3 pounds of mass, and it uses a significant portion of our calories, like 25 to 40% by itself, it is expensive to change the brain. So our brain is kind of lazy inherently, and it likes to energy conserve where it can. But what's cool about this is, so what you do use, your brain gets really good at, and what you don't use, your brain goes, that's too expensive to keep alive, and those neurons kind of die off. So when we're talking about neuroplastic changes, we're literally reigniting networks that might have been down, so to speak, in a metaphor. And that actually, over time, with repetition, can functionally change how the brain functions. Getting those neuronal populations to turn back on again can change things for the nervous system. Some of the things that you look for in neuronal health, for me, I'm usually looking for speed. So example, if my client says, hey, I had a client the other day who was saying, they're working on their distance vision. When they jump from a near target to a distance target, it just takes a lot longer for it to become clear in the distance. So that is a speed issue, right? And so over time, as we train that, I expect that speed to improve. For you, Joe, the speed of from your red colored glasses to things looking green to things looking normal, I would expect that to start to improve as well, having a shorter duration instead of prolonged duration, if that makes sense. Endurance is another piece of that. So neurons fatigue just like anything else. And in the beginning, if they're, you know, depending on how compromised that network has been, they might fatigue quickly and you might get headaches or tired or, things like that. That's usually a sign that you need fuel. So, of course, you don't want to just jump right in and make something that hasn't worked in a while work for several hours, right? You want to build up over time. Um, but over time, you would expect that network to strengthen with repetition and salience and different things that make that network light up essentially. And then accuracy is the last piece of that. Am I seeing this correctly, right? So in the context of my client who was having blurry vision in their distance, they're waiting for that to clear, that precision, and that's the accuracy piece. One thing I was noticing in that particular client is their eye was slow to get on target. So it would go from this and then it would go like this and it would kind of come back and it just wasn't as accurate on landing on the target. So that's also something that we're looking at as improvement, like benchmarks to see how that improves over time the more we practice it as a skill, which is pretty cool. So with color blindness stuff, what I would expect as far as accuracy is, first, can I see the color? And then second, can I, tell what it is? Can I tell the difference between red, purple, pink? When I wear the glasses, how long does that effect last after I take the glasses off? Is there a prolonged effect after the glasses are taken off? When I put them on, am I able to see better contrasts of that color? Red versus maroon versus tangerine, things like that. And that's a great question. Joe, oranges, can you see those okay? And like yellows?
So yellow, I could always see yellow. Orange was weird because it does have red in it, so it really didn't get vibrant for me until I put on the glasses.
And brown, does that, because that's red and green.
Yeah, so brown I couldn't see before, so that's why the trees really got me, excited. I'm like, whoa, this is, this brown I've never seen before too.
That's so cool. Well, I'd love to just, would you mind putting on the glasses and show us how
Yeah,
they
not at all. So I've got them right here, and as Aaron had said, they're kind of like this
Elton
kind of
John aviators?
yeah. I love the aviators, by the way. I'm so glad you guys got that. Um so now, so the interesting thing is like, so for behind you, Aaron, how you have those bands and then that kind of like punching thing at the top. So before I put them on, the thing at the top, it was the punching target was really kind of dark. Now that I put on the glasses, it really pops. So is that red then?
That is red. Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. And then some of the bands, I could see the green one there. And then I could always see the yellow and blue. But still, everything becomes more vibrant. Like even my shirt just like really gets vibrant with the glasses on. But I am getting better at spotting them even now with the glasses off. But I have to have the glasses to really perceive the colors. Like I can't pass a colorblind test without the glasses.
Can we play a little game?
Sure.
All right. I'm going to hold something up and I'm going to ask you what color you think it is.
Okay. So that is that like a teal?
It's a lavender kind of purple.
Oh, like a purple. Interesting.
Does it look kind of green?
Well, like like I said, it kind of almost was like teal to me. Um, Almost like a blue, but it kind of makes sense because I think the blue for me gets amplified because that's one of the few colors I can pick up on. But then it does pick up on the little bit of red in it as well, which is why I don't think it's a blue.
It's a
Um,
combination of
so
colors.
is- so it looks like that's on the top. It's like aqua or teal, right? And then the clear beads, and then at the bottom or near the bottom, the two on the left and right, is that blue or purple? Is that purple again?
I think it's
Or
like,
no, the ones on the left or my left were purple, right?
yeah, these two right here, I think are like a navy blue or indigo maybe.
Yeah, like a dark blue. And that, so that was funny you bring up navy. So uh with my grandfather, who is also colorblind, um we always had trouble with navy socks, because they are almost like a purplish, or they're really dark to us. So when, I remember one time he had done laundry, and he had put these socks together, and I've done this before too, where he put a black sock with a navy sock, because the navy to us looks so dark, that it's like it's black. And my grandma would laugh, and my mom would laugh, like, you guys you guys can't match socks anymore. Like, you're not allowed to do this anymore. Like,
All right, wait, we got more. Are you ready?
yeah. Oh, that's is it the outer is kind of like that shiny stuff, but the inner, is that red for the beef jerky, like around the beef jerky? Yeah, good. Yeah,
Yes.
that part. Yep, yep.
And this is actually like a darker red.
Oh, that's a darker red outside of it? Wow, that's really weird. So when I without the glasses, the border looks like a real, almost like a gray, but shiny. Yeah, it's got that shine to it. And then I could have probably told now that the inner is red even without the glasses.
Oh,
But
cool.
with the glasses on, it really pops. Like, it looks vibrant to me. Whereas without the glasses, it doesn't look vibrant. And then the border doesn't have any vibrance really at all. So is that like a green?
Yes, it is. Like a
Awesome.
neon
It's
green.
so weird. Without the glasses, it's like a very light, uh, almost like a white, but not white, more like a light gray maybe. But that's not exactly how to describe it, but it's hard to describe what it would look like, I think. Or to me, it's hard to put into words. Um, but then when you put the glasses on, bam,
That's
it almost like you could see the blue, or I could see the blue and the green with the glasses on. Whereas without the glasses, I don't see the blue part, which is weird. You would think I would, um, but I think because the red within that to make it green overpowers it so much that it just kind of like takes it out of there for me. But with the glasses on, like, I could see that green has blue in it.
mhm. And then let's see, just a couple more items here.
Ooh, that's is that kind of like the green on the and then the inside of the sea is like a teal or
So this is actually pink.
oh, pink.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Do they look pretty similar?
They do kind of look like, so without the glasses they look very different. But with the glasses they look somewhat similar. And I think it's again because of the red that's in both of them.
Yeah, well, and so the yellow for sure and the green, the pink, this is a really interesting fact, guys. Pink does not exist. We make pink in our brain. Isn't that interesting?
Huh. No, I didn't know that. Well, like I said, when I saw that barbecue sign for the first time, and and my and Sarah, she was like, "Yeah, that's pink." Uh, it just blew my mind. So yeah. So explain that a little more.
So pink and brown don't actually it's like we don't have the cones for pink and brown. Our brain makes pink and brown based off its perception of blending that information together. And that's how it sees pink and brown.
So it's well, because it's not a. Is that because it's not primary color, or how exact, or why? So I forget what like the different cones are. I think there's like three major cones, right?
Red,
Or
green, and
something.
blue. In which
Yeah.
case you would think brown would exist because of the red and green, But I forget why pink and brown actually don't exist. And I'm blowing the neuroscience aspect of this podcast. Sorry, guys. I used to have information I forgot to review before our call. Um, but it is something that our brain actually makes so that we understand pink and brown, but the the spectrum doesn't actually exist on like the Roy G. Biv um and our cone spectrum. Basically.
Wow, that's interesting. So our brain kind of fills the gaps of what it's missing.
And our brain is still filling the gaps, even if I'm just looking here. So if you look at the screen, I see Joe and I see me and I see the stuff in my background. However, there's all these capillaries in front of the retina and the uh, like in front of the optic nerve, essentially, that technically I should see, but my brain ignores because it realizes it's not relevant to what the information is supposed to be coming in. And we actually have two physiologic blind spots where the optic nerve plugs into the eye, where our brain just fills in the information. And so there's a certain condition, I forget what it's called, but like if the brain can't figure out what the information is to fill there, it'll just throw in random hallucinations in people's vision in that spot.
Yeah, it's kind of like those sometimes you'll see these things on social media where it's got some letters but it doesn't like spell out the whole word, and like it has like a little sentence or whatnot, and even though it's not fully written out, our brains can fill in the gaps and tell what they're trying to convey or what message it really is even without all the information.
Yeah, so there's a lot of really cool stuff with vision and optic illusions. I apologize for falling short on being able to describe them well today. It's been a busy week, but
No, we've gotten a lot of good technical stuff, neuroscience, how it works.
yeah, I'll make sure to add in maybe some stuff here at the end for you guys once I take a second to look them up, and then you can nerd out with us on how cool vision really is and how much our brain is making up what we see in order to define meaning and how we interact and stuff like that. So, um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we could cover. So you said that you went to Italy recently. So do you get to have a whole new experience every time you go on vacation?
Yeah, so I did bring them to Italy with me, and I'm so glad I did. There was one pool that we went to where they had all these flowers kind of growing on the side of a building, and then and one place where it really blew my mind. So Pope Francis is the first Pope to ever allow people visitors to go into the Pope's sacred gardens, because he doesn't stay there. He stays in, and he's very humble, and he stays in his one-bedroom apartment that he has. So he lets visitors come into the gardens and experience it, and that's, I'm so glad I brought my glasses for that, because all the colors of the flora, everywhere, just the beauty. And then you just see out, you look out from the Vatican there, and like 12 miles away is the Mediterranean Sea. So you're up on this hill and you can see the Mediterranean Sea, see all these beautiful flowers and everything that they take care of on the grounds. And I'm just so grateful uh, that we were able to do that. It was one of the most beautiful parts of the trip, and with the glasses to be able to see those reds and greens, it was just so mind-blowing. What an amazing experience.
That's awesome. And then our sunsets a completely different experience for you now.
Yeah, oh my gosh, well, especially now here in Hawaii, seeing those sunsets, just unbelievable, and how even like sunsets are different, uh wherever you go. Those Colorado sunsets are so beautiful, with the mountains, and here in Hawaii with the ocean and the beaches and even our mountains here. It just, yeah, you could see the pinks, even though like you said we don't really see pink, but if you could see it, just like how the different parts of the hues, especially as the sun is setting, in the oranges, reds, just so phenomenal, that I never was able to see before.
That's so cool. What would you say is different now in your life with now having these classes, knowing what these colors look like versus before? Are there like new favorites that you have?
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Well, like I said, even I mean, really everything. I mean, so I guess, well, one, I didn't really know that red was this vibrant color. I always thought of it this dull thing that I couldn't really see. Like I said, it's almost as dark as the Coke inside the Coke can. That's how close it is to me normally. And then to be able to see the vibrance of red, um, it was just really unbelievable uh that I'm able to perceive that, able to experience it. Without these glasses, I could have gone my entire life and never known that or never had that experience. So I can't tell you enough how grateful I am, to be able to do that, to be able to see all these beautiful colors that I never had the opportunity to before.
that's so cool.
So thank you.
And one last question. I know we've been working a little bit on the eye work, and that helped improve your squat, that helped improve your press, made you stronger, made you more stable. That was super exciting. Um, have you ever tried working out in your colored lenses? A, and then B, how did it turn out?
So I haven't done that yet. So that gives me something to do actually in the future, or tomorrow even, is to do all those exercises with these glasses on and see if I notice. I'll have to do some benchmarks, and maybe I could work with you on that to kind of see what you notice as an outside observer. But yeah, I want to work on that and see how well, or how, what kind of differences I notice, from my own exercises, and then maybe what you would notice too.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. I think
I
that'd
never
be
really thought to do that, so that's a cool idea.
that's super cool. All right, you guys. Well, I think that wraps up most of what we wanted to cover today. I just thought it'd be really fun to bring Joe on here. It's such a cool experience to well, first of all, it's just wonderful to have you as a cousin, and I love you with all my heart. But
I love you too.
just to have him on here to talk about color blindness, because a lot of people that are obviously don't have color blindness don't know enough about it or haven't heard more about it. And I wanted him to share his perspective, and also just kind of I think the cool idea that this is something he can train, and that this is something that he's getting better at. And it's just another fun way
I
to,
never would have thought that that was possible in my entire life. And if you want more information, please reach out to Erin. She was really helped me with this. And then thank you all for nerding out with us.
yes,
It's been such a cool experience, and we love talking about this kind of stuff.
yeah, definitely. So, just a quick question about rainbows. I know there in Hawaii you have amazing pictures of rainbows and stuff. What's the difference between what you see without the glasses and then with the glasses on when you look at a
Yeah,
rainbow?
so with the rainbows, before I was wearing the glasses, um, there was this weird middle band, with the green, and then the end band with the red that I couldn't really ever see. But then when I put the glasses on, it's just like all of a sudden these bands pop out of nowhere. Turns out that middle band is green, and I then with the glasses I can actually see it. And it makes sense with the Roy G. Biv that green is in the middle, so it was like this whole middle part of the rainbow that I couldn't see. It was just like a kind of like almost like a gray in the middle of it. But then it just pops with the glasses. I also noticed that the red really pops a lot. So it was like that end of the rainbow with, well, really red and orange, which I have trouble seeing normally. And still I'm working on that with the glasses. But so that whole end part of the rainbow, um, finally pops out when I wear the glasses, and then the middle part with the green, and even the end part with the purple. But it's just like, I could only see a few bands of the rainbow before, whereas now it just all pops out and it's so vibrant. Yeah, it's such a cool experience to be able to actually see all the colors of the rainbow rather than being just having like a few bands here and there. Um, it's really just amazing to be able to see that.
That is incredible. So, the bands, did they look just like grayscale bands with a couple of like yellow and
It's not exactly like that, but that's the best way I can describe it. It's kind of like just really dull, almost like a grayscale.
cool, dude. That's so awesome. Thank you for, I just was like, oh my God, let's talk
No,
about
I
that.
know. I didn't even think of that until we started talking about it. I was like, wait a minute. Actually, the rainbow would be a cool thing to talk about.
Yeah, cool. All right, that's all. Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
All right, you guys, we'll see you in the next episode.